Alright, so I do apologise, I've somehow been able to get back into the server for the reverse grid race. So you will have to deal with the lag fest that is this circuit once more for an average stream. So again, I do apologise for the warping and lag which will take place, but here we are on the second lap of the second race, which is reverse grid. So that's why you see a lot of the other guys, faster guys that were up the front, and now towards the back of the field. And now I've got, looks like O'Hara making his way through the field. Looks like we've got a car off Scotty. And there's one Nissan off the road up ahead as well. Ooh, and there's one of the Nissans off there. That's Macca. It's run wide. It's allowed a number of cars through now. As we see Quartzum get ahead. The sister is an Ultima in front now. O'Hara trying to do the same thing, but you're not going to get around the outside of someone at the carousel. At least I wouldn't think so, but no, he isn't able to do it. O'Hara is human after all. O'Hara in 17th place. He's now got to deal with Jasan in front. Quartum now. He's got to try and build a bit of a gap. O'Hara as best he can, while O'Hara has to deal with Jasana in behind, or in front of him, but in behind Quartum. The same goes for Mackett as well. Both those guys running in second and third in race one. Hickory's had a fairly solid start as well. He's battling now with Bean Lazy for 11th place. Bean Lazy with the slipstream. Looks like he's going to hold on to that position, at least for now. But Himbry will try and outbrake him into turn one. And it looks like he's going to get the job done just. So Himbry now up into 11th place. All the two Nissans side by side there. Bristow, who was up in the, well, he was leading, and we just jumped in. He's now down in 10th place, and Himbry looking to make his way past him. Also got Matt Cotter trying to get past, and will get past the number 97 Red Bull of Delaney. At least for now, they're going to battle through turn 6, and now turn 7. So Cotter now up into P4. So Cotter Delaney had a solid start to this one. And there it is. So Himbry now into the 10. Ahead of Brister and Bean Lazy. And now Quarter, he's all over. Well, he's going to be all over the back of Bean Lazy and Brister in a moment's time. And in fact, Himbry passed Mercenary at the carousel. So gets that job done. He's moving up quite nicely. But he's got Rusty Hall down the road, and Rusty Hall was quite quick in that first race. Reed under a bit of pressure now. And O'Hara, in fact, has dropped all the way down to 20th place. So something's happened to him. And he's well off the back, so he's been involved in some kind of an incident. And we've got Macca in the pits, so he's getting his pit stop done early, out of the way. Back in the, what is the midfield at the moment, as we see in the background there. Quartum now past Bean Lazy. Himbry starting to chase down Reed, and Reed has lost out to Rusty Hall. As we see Matt Cotter make the move up ahead. Looks like there might have been a little bit of contact between Cotter and Delaney. And now that's going to balk Keen Lucas, and Lucas wants to buy in and get himself in front of the FGX Falcon. Cotter out trying to get Lucas on the switchback, but he's not going to get that done in 7. Josh Lynn is also right there as well, so this is a very angry pack. Delaney's now just edged away from this pack as Lynn up the inside of Cotter outbrakes himself, and it looks like Lucas outbroke himself at turn 8, and that's dropped him behind Hall and Cotter now. So costly mistake from him as he gets that little bit of lag, and Tim Hembry also there as well. Hembry now past Lynn. Hembry right behind Reed. A very angry battle pack in the early stages, and it looks like we've got Hall and Cotter side by side. Hall now up into P4, so he's had a cracking start here, and he's put himself in prime position at the moment. With all that battling, Delaney was sort of around this pack at the start of the lap, but as you can see, he is bolted with all those guys battling, and it looks like it's Reed and Lucas side by side down the pit straight. Hembry keeping a close eye on things as well. Lucas will take P6, Reed down to P7, and Cortum with all this has caught up to the back of the pack, as has been Lazy, and Josh Lynn looks like he's made another mistake somewhere as well, because it looks like he's dropped off and away from this pack completely. There he is in the background, so he certainly has. And fastest lap of the race for O'Hara, so perhaps O'Hara pitted and that's why he was at the back of the pack. Perhaps, but I don't think he would be further back if that was the case though. Either way, O'Hara 19th, fastest lap of the race. Macca in 20th position. And once again, just a little bit of lag, playing havoc. The cars now looking like they're drifting everywhere once again. Lucas and Reed continue to battle. They've sort of dropped Hembry on this lap just a little bit. Hembry sort of probably keeping a little bit of a close eye on his mirrors with Cortum in behind. So those two towards the end of race 1 there. They got close together. I wouldn't say they had a battle, but Cortum was trying to chase down Hembry after a mistake. But Hembry's had a good run through the kink, and that has allowed him to close onto the back of Peter Reed now. Peter Reed, though, right behind Keen Lucas. Right on board FGX Falcon, and Hembry has dropped behind Cortum, so Cortum's made his way past Hembry. Hembry hasn't gone off the road, so just a good move from Cortum, I'm assuming. Hembry wants to get that position back though. And now we've got Rusty Hall, fastest lap of the race, 2:06.6 in his pursuit of James Delaney. As Cortum, Hembry side by side into turn 1. Cortum has the inside. Hembry going to try and hold on around the outside. He gets the job done. But Cortum not giving up easy. Almost on the grass on the inside. Just a shame that I'm having these CPU issues, because that probably would have looked really, really good. Instead, it looks quite farcical with it looking like they're Tokyo drifting through every corner at this stage. With these two battling, they are falling away from Reed and Lucas in front, but Hembry holds on, at least for now, and Being Lazy also right there in case anything happens between these two. So Lucas now in a bit of a sandwich High Contrast Racing FGX Falcon sandwich at the moment. And looks like Rusty Hall and Phillips duking it out at Canada Corner. They're going to be side by side. They were side by side for a split second there. So Delaney got past Phillips, and now Rusty Hall has as well. So second for Delaney, third now for Hall. Hall trying to chase down Delaney. See, Hall on that last lap did set fastest lap of the race. This time hindered just a little bit as he had to get past the FGX of Simon Phillips. And it looks like we got Himbury and Cortum round 3. And Himbury has outbroken himself, and that has allowed Cortum up into 8th position now. Might be smarter for both of these guys just to stop racing each other just for a little bit and then catch back up onto the Reed, Lucas and Cotter train and then see if they can work their way past those guys, especially with 17 laps to go. Ooh, and it looks like Lucas a bit wide there at turn 4. Or turn 3. And that has allowed Reed through. Reed now has to contend with Phillips, who's much slower, it has to be said, at this stage. Reed now having to look up the inside. Phillips goes defensive, forces Reed to the outside, and around the outside goes Peter Reed, and he's now up into 5th place. And now it's Lucas's turn to deal with Simon Phillips. Lucas has got Cortum all over the back of him. You see Himbury wide on the grass and the exit of the kink. Oh, now, and Lucas now outbreaks himself just a little bit, and that has allowed Cortum past. And luckily for him, Himbury outbroke himself as well, otherwise he would have done the exact same as well. Lucas now down to 8th, Cortum up into 9th. Down the field, O'Hara currently sitting in 17th place. Oh, and got Mercenary off there. Looks like he's lost the back end and tried saving it at the kink. At the front though, Keys in the lead. And it has to be said, Delaney not making too much of an impression on him at the moment. So Keys didn't have a particularly good race 1, but race 2, with some more mileage around the track, and he looks like he's going along a lot better than what he was in race 1. Seems to be going a bit quicker, that's for sure. Only pushing to try and catch up, and Rusty Hall, as we know, has set the fastest lap of the race so far. And then we've got Cotter and Reed 4th and 5th. Cortum now 6th place. Lucas in 7th. And now it's Himbury's turn to deal with Simon Phillips. That said though, Phillips all over the back of Lucas at the moment. Just having a look up the inside. Oh, and around goes Phillips. Perhaps there's contact between himself and Himbury. I'm not sure, but around he goes. See, it's hard for me to tell with the CPU and this place running at 99% for God knows whatever reason, unlike any other track in the game. Oh, and wide goes Lynn, wide goes, and that's a big one. That is a big one. He is going to try and continue. Hopefully, he forces Gomez sort of onto the grass there. Had a big accident for Josh Lynn at the kink. He will keep going though, but I think we might see him in the pits to possibly repair some of that damage. And we've also had the 2 FGXs, High Contrast Racing, swap positions there. Just cuts it. So Reed now up into 3rd, Cotter down to 4th. 207.7, or pretty much a 207.8 for Reed. And then 207.2, I believe, was there for Cortum. So Cortum the faster of these cars here. There's nothing between these guys at the moment. At the front, though, Delaney's had a good lap and he's closed that gap down between himself and Keys. Delaney's got a comfortable lead over Peter Reed at the moment. So I think Delaney's probably in prime position at the moment. We still do have pit stops to sort things out, and in fact we've got Rusty Hall in the pit, so Rusty Hall was up there. It looks like he's going to try and make an early pit stop, get an undercut going. So I do believe he was running in the top 3, if my memory serves me correct. We've also got Josh Lynn in the pits repairing the damage after that big accident that he just had. But that's not ideal for Rusty Hall off the road at turn 2 there. But he's on cold tyres and cold brakes as well. In fact, he's actually behind Macca. Macca, I believe, may have pitted. I do believe he did pit. I think I was on lap 4. Again, just going by memory. He's well behind O'Hara, who also was well down the field early. I'm not sure if he's pitted, but that is why he's down in 14th. Anyway, but Macca, he has pitted, and Hall has pitted as well. And we've also got Brister now exiting the pits. So that mistake will cost Hall quite badly, I reckon. It was only about 3 or so seconds behind when we last checked between himself and Delaney. It's only 3 seconds or so between the two, but that off will cost him badly, especially as Delaney's going to get past Keys fairly comfortably here. As soon as he's caught him, he's made the move at turn 1. He did have track position. He has got the inside for turn 2, but Keys will hold on. The pits are open, as you can see. Looks like Cortum, as you can see, he's got past Matt Cotter. They are going through a bit of traffic. That is Mercenary, I believe, in the Timken entry. Cortum trying to break the toe a little bit, just straight to the outside of the road. Let's try and catch Cotter unaware, and then to the inside to defend the inside into turn 4. It'll force Cotter to go around the long ways, which he's not going to be able to do. And in fact, looked like Cotter running a little bit wide there, and he's now dropped off the back of Cortum, and he's going to be coming under a little bit of threat from Lucas in behind. So at the front though, Delaney now, he's actually being held up from Keys, so Keys is held on. But Delaney very, very close through the kink, and you'd have to imagine that he will try and go. He is up the inside of Keys coming into Canada corner. But you do still have to pull it up. Keys will try and hold on around the outside. He will have the inside for the next corner, the penultimate corner, and it is a very, very quick corner. Delaney will hold on around the outside, will have the inside for the final corner. But again, Keys not giving it up very late on the brakes, but you can't really outbrake yourself into that final corner without there being a consequence. And Delaney into the lead about a lap later than what he would have liked. And we'll check the lap time when he crosses the start finish line. 2:09.7, so not a good lap from him. So that time that he probably would have made up on Rusty Hall in the pit stop sequence when he went off at turn 2, he's probably lost that now. So we'll cut to Hall. And we'll see, well, we won't cut back to him in a second, but we will see when he crosses the start finish line just what lap time that he would have set, because and compare the two. So it looks like Cortum has just broken the back of Cotter a little bit, so he's gotten away from him, and now he's not too far away from Reed in front. Cut to Hall. So Hall now coming out of the final corner. His tyres are going to be very second-hand towards the end of the race, but he's trying to get track position for now at a 2:06.5, so about 3 seconds faster than Delaney on that last lap. So it will be very, very interesting between the two. Obviously, that off that Hall had will hurt him. But Delaney at the moment going through some lap traffic, and I believe, yes, that is Keys off, and that's going to allow Reed through, and it's going to balk Cortum just a little bit, but Cortum now into third place, Reed into second, and Keys down into fourth place. So it hasn't been a good couple of laps for Keys. He did try ever so hard to hold onto the lead, but that little off there, I reckon that's going to cost him dearly. We're right on board old James Delaney, our race leader, and we'll see how he's travelling along at the moment. Currently, looks like 3/10 off his personal best of the race. 2:07.0 for him. Now he's racing Hall, who's fair way down the field for track position, and Tim Hembry in the pit lane. Hembry now approaching his pit box. And in fact, we'll see where Rusty Hall is in comparison, because they were fairly close together. There was a bit of a gap between the two, as we see O'Hara fastest lap of the race now, 2:06.1. Track doesn't seem to be as rubbered up as it was for race 1. But Hall, in fact, with that off that Hall had, is actually going to be behind Hembry. And Macca is comfortably out in front of Hembry. Macca now at turn 2. And there's about half the straight between turns 1 and 2 between Macca and Hembry. That actually bodes well for Macca. I think all things told, that'll probably have him probably very close to the lead, I would say. We've got Reed and Cortum. We've got Dean Brister between the two of them. As they drift through Canada corner, there's Cortum putting a lap on Dean Brister. The old Ford Performance Racing Cat livery. Alright, so Delaney crosses the line. Doesn't give me a lap time that time around, unfortunately. Might want to have a look at Macca when he crosses the start-finish line. I see Lucas now in the pit lane, so where will he emerge compared to Tim Hembry, who's just going through Canada corner now. Chisana also in the pits in the Nissan Altima. He's having a solid run at the moment. And these pit stops allowing Phillips now up into P7. Lucas now stopped in the pit box. Gomez also entering the pit lane. Macca's going to be comfortably out in front of Keen Lucas, but where will Hembry be in comparison? And there's not going to be much between them. Hembry has the run, has the speed, and Hembry with the undercut gets himself in front of Keen Lucas. One lap on fresh tyres. He did have to obviously warm them up, but those fresh tyres, slick a pit stop, allowing Hembry to move up in front of Keen Lucas. And he's got to really concentrate on this next half a lap and make sure he does gap Lucas, and then he can sort of set his sights on things further afield. Macca though 4 seconds in front of Hembry. I reckon Hembry laying himself into a good position. Now again, O'Hara did set the fastest lap of the race a couple laps ago, I believe on lap 11 of 206.1. I'm not sure if he's pitted, but he was down the field very, very early on. So it would not surprise me at all if he's pitted on the second or third lap, just to give himself some clear air. But that said, he could have had it off. I'm not sure. I didn't see it or pick it up on the stream. But that's certainly one to look out for. If he has to pit Macca and Delaney, as Delaney now enters the pits, Macca is not going to be close enough, I don't think. So he needs to be at Canada Corner if he wants to take the lead. He's not at Canada Corner. In fact, there's quite a bit of a gap. So Reed now inherits the lead. Delaney still not sure if he's hit his pit box just yet. No, he's pulling in right now. And we've also got Matt Cotter and Brendan Beanlazy in the pits as well. So we'll stick with the start-finish line. So that is Mercenary and Brister coming up. And that is Andy O'Hara going through. And there's the Red Bull. So O'Hara is well, if O'Hara hasn't pitted, he's not in the lead. But if he has pitted, he will be in the effective race lead. Again, I do wish it would say if he has pitted, but fortunately don't have that information privy to me. But currently, Reed in the lead, but has to pit. Same with Cortum. Cortum not far away. And then Keys 5 seconds back behind them. Right, all that battling that Delaney's had to do has cost him time. And O'Hara now, again, if O'Hara has pitted, pitting early on like he did, fantastic strategy call. But again, I'm not 100% certain of that. Reed now approaching the final corner. It sounds like we've got a car off. Yep, Cordham off at the last corner. He's made a mistake. Reed entering the pit lane. Looks like Cordham is going to do the same, as is Keys. And now the question remains, does O'Hara have to pit? Either way, at least for the next lap, he will inherit the lead, unless he does, of course, pit himself. He goes around. I don't think he has to pit, so he may have pitted on the third or fourth lap, and that's why he was down the field early. And being in clear air has allowed him to now effectively take the race lead. And Delaney up into P2, Reed into P3, and Macca into P4, but he will have a little bit of momentum over Reed in front. And he's having a look up the inside. Reed going defensive. And in the end, Macca too quick on warmer tyres and makes the move up the inside at turn 2. Ross Macca now into third place. Macca, another one that pitted very, very early on. And Beanlazy also exiting the pit lane. And he's going to drop behind Gomez. But he should hold on to 15th place. Oh, and we've got Himbury, Cortum and Cotter all very close together on the racetrack. On 3 wide into turn 4 there. Up to turn 5. Himbury having a look, but he's not going to be close enough. This is a very angry little pack battling over P5. Just taking a narrower line through the carousel. You can take various different lines there, and none end up being really all that faster than the other. Now through the kink, he's had to get out of it. almost lost the back end on the grass there, but holds on to it. Lost a little bit of ground to caught him in front. And again, shows his nose into Canada corner, but not close enough to make the move. Just trying to annoy the car in front. In fact, Cortum looks like he's had a good run through Canada corner now, and he's looking more eyes forward than in his mirrors. And he's looking to get ahead of Matt Cotter in his FGX Falcon. Nothing much between these guys. Now Macca, between himself and Delaney, they're in about 5 seconds according to the timing on the left there. And on that last lap he did edge away from Peter Reid. So good strategy from the Nissan crew to pit early, get him out in free air. Ooh, and Embry got ahead. Well, he's dropped behind a position. King Lucas has dropped. No, he wasn't involved in that, my mistake. But looked like Embry tried to make a move on Cortum and then lost out in the end. Cortum once again reacquires the rear end of Matt Cotter's FGX Falcon. Still got 8 laps to go here, so plenty of time to get the job done. Oh, and much later on the brakes, Cotter defensive on the inside. A bit of battling between some lap traffic. I think as Mercenary and Bristol are in front as well. So hopefully they don't cause too many issues for these faster cars coming through. Cortum has a look up the inside. Unfortunately, he's starting to get a bit of lag at an inappropriate time. Both our front runners much quicker off the final corner, try and get as much slipstream as they can off the lap traffic. So you see Delaney with the fastest lap of the race, Cortum with the slipstream, and Cotter, I don't know if he braked or something there, but he slowed down. Cortum going to try and go around the outside. Hembry's right there as well. Around the outside they go, Cortum goes and holds onto it. Fortunately, a bit of lag made that look a bit silly. And around the outside, Hembry's going to try and go around Cotter. And a little bit of contact on the exit of turn 2. It's going to be a drag down into turn 3. In fact, no, it's not, because Cotter with the better exit out of turn 2. Hembry reacquires the slipstream. And again, he's going to try and send it up the inside and move up into P6. But not quite close enough into turn 4. Cotter holds on for now. Cortum looking to stretch away now. Yeah, Cotter. And a bit of pressure now. Cortum just edging away. But I don't think Cortum's going to catch onto the back of Peter Reid up the road. It'd be a bit too far with 7 laps to go. But Hembry a real chance of getting past Cotter, barring mistake. So we've got Hall and Lucas battling it out. Hall gets his way ahead of King Lucas. Oh, and we've got Brister around at the exit of Canada corner, and he's going to balk. I think that was Chisana and Keys behind. Thankfully, they've avoided it. It's looks like a good finish to lap for Cotter there. He's just able to drop Hembry by a tenth or two and ease the pressure just a little bit, just to buy him some time. And at this stage, I think Hembry's just a hint faster, all things considered. But they're going to have Rusty Hall closing down once he gets past Mercenary in the Timken entry. And yeah, at the front, O'Hara continues to lead. Comfortable gap over Delaney. And Delaney did just set the fastest lap of the race. O'Hara's tyres will be quite worn. So I'm going to assume at this stage that he did pit very, very early on, and that's why he was able to jump people. And that's why he was down the field very early on as well. But his tyres are going to be quite second-hand. Delaney's on fairly new tyres. And he should have some kind of an edge over O'Hara. But as we've seen, O'Hara is very, very quick. So Delaney's job is going to be fairly difficult to not only close down the Autobahn ZB Commodore, but also to get by. He's now, Delaney though, he's got a comfortable gap over Macca. Macca's sort of out on his own. At 3 seconds in front of Peter Reid, who's 4.5 in front of Scott Cortum, who has dropped Matt Cotter and Hembry, who continue to battle. Hembry much closer this time by than what he was last lap coming out of the final turn, but he's not going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1. He'll be hoping just for a little bit of slipstream, just to edge him a little bit closer. A good run through turn 1, and then probably a move into turn 4 after that back straight. He's had a good run through turn 1. Now, can he get the exit out of turn 2? It's hard to say with the lag. But he will have a little bit of slipstream, but it looks like Cotter's got a slightly better exit because he is just edging away down the straight. Oh, and late braking manoeuvre or a bit of lag, I'm not sure. But Hembry's just sent it. Cotter saw it coming. I think it was just a bit of lag, but either way, very, very hairy for a moment there. Cotter remains in 6th. A lot of curb usage for Hembry there. Don't want to be doing that too often through there. You will unsettle the rear end, overheat the rear left, which will make it a bit difficult through the carousel here, where the rear left gets absolutely blasted with all the weight pretty much sitting on it. Again, I do apologise to the cars looking like they're drifting everywhere due to the high CPU usage. It looks like Hembry's had a good run through the kink. Cotter goes defensive for Canada corner, and Hembry's going to have to go around the outside to make the move. Seen a number of drivers go around the outside throughout this race, but not this time. Cotter holds on for now. As once again we go Tokyo drifting and then warping back. As you can see, that is Cortum off in the distance. So he's absolutely dropped these guys since he got past Cotter 3 laps ago. Both these guys 2:08.5s, 5 seconds in front of Hall. Hall is 7.2. He's travelling on quite nicely, but I don't think he's got enough laps left to really catch up onto the back of these two, unless he starts hitting some 6s. And these guys probably have another altercation, which holds them both up. At the front, looks like the gap sort of remaining at 4.5, 5 seconds between Delaney and O'Hara. And so Delaney's just edging away from Macca as well. And in fact, Peter Reid has started to well, he's now right there with Ross Macca for 3rd. So the battle for the final spot on the rostrum is underway. And these guys hold each other up badly enough. Gorton is there if there is an altercation or a couple really slow laps as they battle as well. So we do have a couple of tasty battles as race 2 of the 19th round of the AK Racing V8 Supercar Championship concludes. Cotter and Himbry continue to duke it out for P6 though. And my CPU occupancy still remains at 99% at this circuit. Even after Hall, just going back a moment, as we've got yellows out for Chisana and Mercenary, so something's happened there. Mercenary, a lap car, has balked Chisana, and Chisana now has dropped a couple spots because of that. Something's happened there. No safety car this time around. And it doesn't look like there's any other cars involved. But what I was about to say is despite Hall getting past Lucas, he hasn't been able to drop him. Even though Hall did have some quite good pace in that first race, hasn't been able to sort of replicate it here in the second one. And looks like Lucas has also found a bit more consistency and pace here in this second race. And he hasn't allowed Hall to get away. And back in the battle for third position, 3 laps to go. Gap is around about a second. As you can see there's Scott Cortum. And then we've got Matt Cotter and Tim Himbry, followed by Rusty Hall, Keen Lucas. And after that incident, we've also got Chisana in the pits, as you can see on the HUD there. And right there is Keys. At the front though, O'Hara continues to lead, and that early pit stop paying dividends. Currently leads, well, it does vary and go up and down, but it is about 4.5 seconds. 4.5 to 5 seconds. 2:06.2 for him on that last lap, so not bad on worn tyres. 2:06.0 for Delaney. That's not going to be enough to really affect the result of this one. But behind them though, the battle for third starting to heat up. 2:07.4 for Macca, 2:06.9 for Reed, and that gap is not much at all. And Cotter and Himbry, there's not much between these guys either. They've actually now got, Hall has started to pick his pace up, or perhaps Himbry and Cotter have had a couple scruffy laps, because Hall now he's actually ditched Lucas. I think Hall's just picked up his pace. He's come alive a little bit last couple of laps, because he's now not too far away from the back of Tim Himbry. And Himbry's going to have to keep an eye on that gap, because he might see a very angry Nissan in his mirrors on the final lap. Back at the battle for third though, and Peter Reed is right there, right behind Ross Macca. Let's get a little bit of lag, whopping these guys all over the place. And Cortum is edging closer, as these guys now are close enough where they would be holding each other up. Where Macca, looking in his mirrors just a little bit, goes a little bit defensive, but he's wide. He is wide at the carousel, and Reed is up the inside, and that will probably give him the position. Macca's not going to be able to get him on the switchback. That said though, Macca will have the better line through the kink, and it's a bit awkward for both of them. It's cost them a bit of time, and Cortum probably a good winner out of that one. He's closed that gap up quite nicely, but Reed now into third position, Macca down to fourth, and Cortum in P5 not far away now. in 5th place. Unfortunately, that battle didn't last as long as what we would have hoped, but still a couple laps remaining for that all to change. Back down, battle for 6th and 7th. Not much between Himbree and Cotter. Cotter doing a good job absorbing all the pressure Himbree can throw at him. And able to hold fast in 6th position with 2 laps, or just under 2 laps remaining now. Himbree now is going to have to start to worry about the ever-closing Rusty Hall behind him in 8th as well. He's not too far away, and I reckon at the end of this lap we will see Hall on the back of Himbree and annoying him for P6. And we've got Cortum now up into P4. I don't know if that was team orders or whatever, but around the outside, Cortum goes. Cortum travelling quite nicely. It's like Macca's tyres are gone. He did pit very early, just like O'Hara. But O'Hara's been able to sort of save his tyres somehow and maintain some fantastic pace. Well, it looks like Macca's tyres have given up the ghost. And now we've got Cortum now trying to chase down Reed for the final spot of the podium once again. All on this lap. He's had a decent lap. Gap is sort of closing a little bit, but he's going to need to be a bit closer if he does really want to make a move into P7. In fact, Himbree looks like he's had a fantastic run, and Cotter's made a slight mistake. Himbree's gone for the move, but outbroke himself, and Cotter will take that position back. But a mistake that we must have missed, or just a fantastic run through the kick for Himbree, sends it up the inside with a lap and a bit to go. Couldn't pull it up, but he is right there now with Cotter, and with those two sort of duking it out and having to get out of each other's way, that's now allowed Hall into the game, and we should see a 3-car battle for P6 on the final lap. Cotter placing his car right to the right hand side, going to force Himbree to go around the outside. We have seen this move happen before. Himbree going to try it again around the outside at turn 1. And again, very, very close. Bit of lag making it difficult, but Himbree around the outside at turn 1, goes to the inside for turn 2. And Cotter very late on the brakes, a bit of a nudge. It sends Himbree sort of half around. But he's able to save it, but Cotter now going to try and make the move around the outside because he's got an angry Nissan behind him. Himbree on the inside. And looks like Hall going to try and make it 3 wide here. Himbree on the inside there, 3 wide into 4. And it's Himbree takes the position. And it is Cotter, the big loser. Hall having a look up the inside of Himbree, but he doesn't get that one done. So Himbree finally gets the move done on the last lap, around the outside at turn 1. And in fact, he's had a good couple corners, and he sort of dropped Hall a little bit. Up the front though, the gap has actually dropped down quite a bit, so a bit of lap traffic between, or there was a bit of lap traffic for O'Hara on this lap, and he's got a little bit more, but he's only got a couple corners to go. It's only a couple seconds now between O'Hara and Delaney, but with 1 corner to go, O'Hara, all he has to do is just make it now to the start-finish line without any dramas, and he doesn't, out of the final turn, and O'Hara will take 2 from 2 this evening at Road America, pitting early on. Delaney, solid effort from him in race 2, and he'll take 2nd place. Peter Reid will hold on for 3rd, with Cortum closing at the death, but not quite enough. Reid 3rd, Cortum 4th. Macca will finish in 6th place. Himbree, he will hold on to P6. Looks like Cotter has had it off somewhere because he's well behind these, so Himbree will just hold on with the Rusty Hall right behind him in 7th. Matt Cotter in 8th place. And then we have Keen Lucas in 9th. Keys will finish in 10th. And then we have Simon Phillips in 11th. Manny Gomez will finish in 12th place. And then we have Brendan Bean Lazy in 13th, followed by Ash Webster in 14th. And then Josh Lynn, after having a monumental accident pretty much 50 metres earlier down the road, or 100 metres down the road earlier there, robbing him of a decent result. Finish in 15th place. Have a car off there, and is Mercenary. Thomas Lauder not too far behind Josh Lynn, but he shouldn't get past him barring a mistake from Josh Lynn. Then we have Scotty in 17th and a lap down. Kushana has disappeared from the game. Brister in 19th. Mercenary in 20th. And that is 2 from 2 down here at Road America. And some decent racing in that second one. Much closer in the battle for the lead. O'Hara holding on at the death. With Delaney not quite fast enough towards the end to give himself a shot on newer tyres. Peter Reid just taking third place towards the end of that race from Ross Macca, who's again, he pitted very early, just like O'Hara did, but Macca's tyres failing him just towards the end there, dropped a bit of pace, and that allowed both Reid and Courtson past, but still P5, solid result from him. Tim Himbry, another P6 for him in race 2, holding off Rusty Hall in 7th and getting past Matthew Cotter with a lap and change remaining. Then Keen Lucas in 9th. Chris Keys, 10th place. Followed by Simon Phillips, Manny Gomez, Brendan Bean Lazy, Ash Webster in 14th, Lynn 15th, Lauder 16th, Scotty in 17th. Followed by Anthony Chisana, David Brister and Mercenary, the last of the... Let me just double check. And yes, Mercenary, the last of the finishes. Anyway, from myself, Lewis Wedding, I do apologise once again for the way this circuit sort of runs on my computer. I've had issues with it for the past couple of weeks. But I do hope you enjoyed the Tokyo Drift of the cars on the server. Hopefully the drivers enjoyed the racing, and hopefully you guys will join me. I'm not sure when the next broadcast of the AK Racing Supercars Championship will be, but hopefully when that does come around, it definitely will happen in 2020, where I'll be broadcasting every race live. But hopefully you enjoy the next broadcast gets put up, but you shall catch me, well, whenever that is.